Okay. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here with us all this Monday morning. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you from wherever you are joining in from, or at any point you get to see this. So, I'm glad we could be here together to talk to ourselves. Yeah, I'm glad about that. So, straight to business. The vanity of poverty. The vanity of poverty. That's why we are here. A couple of persons have reached out to me. Kate, what's that topic all about? Why are we going in that direction? And then I just smiled. I said, let's meet here today. Let's meet here today because it's something we need to talk about. It's something we just must talk about. It's something I've heard a whole lot of saying as regards vanity, especially when it comes to the subject of wealth. And I've realized that the majority of those who are quick to raise that word vanity are those who are financially weak or those who are financially struggling. They don't have what it takes to accumulate or to put together financial resources, and their first response to every subject of finance that comes up, or to every subject of wealth creation or wealth accumulation that comes up, is vanity. And then it becomes easier to put on your chest and go all out to mention it, because a line in the scriptures mentions that. So we want to correct the mindset from where that has been bettered, and get ourselves on the right track as regards this topic that has to do with vanity and its association with poverty. Because I've not really met a wealthy man, like a really wealthy man, and it says that, well, vanity upon vanity, all is vanity. And in the same light, or in the same context from which one who is financially weak is talking from. So first, if you are new to this channel, it's Kate Inspires. This is where finance and purpose meet. Purpose and finance gets to meet here. We are people. It's a group of people, a community of people who are so um determined to fulfill the purposes for which we were created. And doing so, we have made up our mind to be also financially free individuals. We won't just feel fulfilled in terms of purpose, we won't just give to the world our value, but we also make sure that we capitalize on those value so much so that they bring financial resources to us. Because no matter how much we want to argue it, what is spent on this side of the divide is money. And if you don't have financial resources needed to exchange for the value you also need to improve your life, you become a weak person. And if you are not so careful, you become frustrated, because every bill that comes your way, you will be unable to meet up with. And if you cannot pay the bills, you cannot meet up with the bills, life is not fair. Life will not just smile at you. So, in as much as we are giving value to the world and fulfilling our purpose in that, you're also making sure that we are getting something back in exchange for the value we are giving, so that we too can exchange those resources for the things we lack, so that in all you can live a balanced life. So if you're new to the channel, do well to subscribe, like, share this with everybody in your community. Let's build the community together and get to help ourselves grow. So back to today's topic, the vanity of poverty. First things first, you need to realize that your poverty does not in any way help anybody, not you, not your spouse, not your children, not your family members, not your religious house members, not your community, not your nation. And I must shock you, your vanity, your poverty does not even help God himself. It doesn't make God become a better God. It doesn't make him a wicked God. It doesn't make your parents, your siblings become wicked or good persons because you are poor. And then because you are poor, it doesn't make your kids the best kids in the world. Neither does it make your spouse the most enduring person in the world. So first and foremost, we must get to the realization that my poverty helps nobody. Not me, not anyone around me, not divinity, neither does it help humanity. We need to come to the realization of that. And the earlier we come to that, the better it is for us to move from that bus stop. And then the next thing you want to stop doing is you want to stop glorifying your poverty. I realize a whole lot of people who are struggling financially have a way they glorify poverty, they glorify these financial struggles, and they want to justify their financial lack with every means possible. Well, it's not like I'm not working, it's not like I'm not trying, but sometimes you can work hard and work smart and all that. I get it. But you can't stay at that junction where you are always glorifying your poverty. And with those two out of the way, now we can have a conversation that I believe is with people who have a better understanding on what we are about to discuss. Vanity upon vanity, all is vanity. And then I realize most of the persons who say this don't have the material resources to justify these things. I tell people you cannot prove to me that you are not a humanizer. You don't humanize until you have the resources and the circumstances that needs to put you in that scenario where you have all it takes to humanize but refuse to humanize. So meaning you don't have the finances, the resources, or the boldness to even talk to a lady in the first place, and you say because of that you don't humanize. That does not justify it. Let's just accept that you're a shy person. You lack the courage to talk to the opposite sex. So that you don't have the resources to go on dates with a lady, and because of that, you don't bother talking to them, does not make you one who does not humanize. It only means you don't have the resources needed. That you have not been in a situation where you get caught up with someone, your heart beats for so fast. Meanwhile, you already have someone you are going out together with, and you don't have a situation that brings you and that person that is making your heart beat so fast come so close, and you get to create a bond, probably because of work, because of a project and all that. That doesn't mean you don't humanize. It just means the resources and the atmosphere that would really test you have not been put in place. In the same vein, that you don't have a G Wagon, or you don't have a Benz, or you don't have a Venza, for instance, doesn't mean you don't like those things. For years, I met people who would tell me, in the early days of iPhone, when iPhone was more of the classic thing, not now that it is much more available to almost every persons now. When it was like the days of, I'm talking when iPhone, the highest of iPhone there was, I think, iPhone 6, iPhone 7. I'm not even sure 7 was out then. You hear people who couldn't afford an iPhone say, I can never use an iPhone. I don't like the iPhone. And it's a stingy kind of model. Why will I have a phone that only me, I cannot share things with others? But I realized most of the people saying these things were not just using Android phones, but they were using the weakest of Android phones. So they are so used to the mindset of, I want to watch something, I want to collect a file. I cannot download it because I don't have data to download it. But because my friend has an app like Sender or Share It, I can always easily collect from him or her. Because I cannot download this movie I cannot watch it from the legal sources, and I don't even have data to download from the legal sources. I know a friend who is more financially buoyant than me, who can access these things. I can always use Sender and Share It to collect from that person, and then you spend hours and hours to collect those files, and then you can use it. But because you can't do the same thing with your iPhone, you just make a conclusion in your mind, I can never use iPhone. But few years down the line, I've seen most of those same persons now using iPhone, and I'm wondering what changed. I thought you said a few years back that you can never use an iPhone, you don't like an iPhone. In fact, anything Apple, anything iPhone, iMac, Tab, and all that, iPad, I don't want. So what really changed? Now you have the resources, and now you have realized that in fact you've been missing out on a whole lot more than you thought you were actually missing out on. And because you can't afford it, or somebody could afford to gift you, now you are using it. The same vein, that you cannot afford a G Wagon now, or a Rolls Royce now, does not now make it vanity because someone else can afford it. Because it's a hard truth, but I'm going to share it. Either you move from one place to another with a G Wagon or a Rolls Royce, or you move from one place to another with your leggities bends, I mean your legs, both your leg and your G-Wagon, none will leave this earth with you. Let me come again. Either you move from one place to another with a G-Wagon, a Rolls Royce, a Venza, and rides in that category, or you move from one place to another with your leggities bends, that means your legs, or you jump motorcycle or tricycle or whatsoever, both your legs and the G-Wagon, none is going to leave this planet. So for those who are coming from the spiritual angle, the religious angle, I'm going to a city where the floor is made of gold and all that. The legs that you are using right now is not the same leg that is following you to that heaven that you believe so much in. So even your leg, as far as it is, as far as the world is vanity. Did I just drop a shocker there? Oh, you never knew your leg self was a vanity. It's a part of this world. That's it. That's the truth. These legs will not go. These eyes will not go. This body is not going. So either I choose. See, there are two ways you can choose to walk under the rain. I can choose that what will be my covering. It is raining now, and and I must go out now. I must get to where I'm going now because there's a deal, there's a project, there's a task to be done, there's a meeting that has been scheduled way before now, and I must go there. It is you who decide what will be your covering to that place. Your covering from one state to another might be an umbrella. Your covering might be a napep, a tricycle cover. Your covering could also be a G-Wagon. Your covering could also be something so strong that when the breeze is blowing, see, no matter how much you try hard, when the rain is falling and the wind is blowing, some persons will go out with ease. But if you hold an umbrella on a bike, trust me, both you and the umbrella will get missing along the journey. Because when the wind starts blowing, that umbrella can no longer become a covering. So either you get to the venue wet or you get to the venue dry. It's a function of what you truly want. And it all starts with you coming to a realization that as far as this thing is on this earth, it is vanity. The same way, either you get a first class out of school or you get a third class out of school. Those degrees, those papers, when you're done with school, it's just paper they give you. It's so funny how I was in this I was a part of this category of persons for years. Those category of persons who just feel once I know the maths and English, I know the economics and government and all that, and I know how to cover my notes when I'm writing and cover my notes when during the exam, and I can get 10 over 10. You think you've made it in life. I was in that category of persons. And then you can deliver when it's time for quiz, for important competitions you are called upon, and you feel like yes, you have made it in life. I was in that category of persons, and I didn't really realize that at the end of all this, when I finally get that first class, it's just a piece of paper that confirms that yes, you have a first class. Meaning, when the day I drop dead, that first class is as useless to every other human being as the third class can be. I don't know if you get that. So either I am having a first class certificate or a third class certificate, as far as I am no longer breathing, no other human being can make use of that first class certificate. And no other human being can also make use of that third class certificate. Meaning both the first class and the third class are both vanity. But more often than not, a whole lot of students strive to become first class students. Why? Because it pays to have a first class result, a first class certificate in this world than it is to have a third class certificate. In the same vein, it pays to have wealth in this world than to be someone who is financially struggling. Because either you die poor or you die wealthy, we will still bury you. You're going down. Either we use a poor man's a casket made of mat and nylon and clothes to bury you, or we buy the best of coffin to bury the other person. You are both going to end wherever it is your works can get you to. Not that because I am poor, I will not suffer in the life to come. It's a wrong mindset. That you suffer there does not mean you not. See, So what most of us are doing presently is what is called double losses. You won't have it here, and by the time you get there, you realize you wasted. Okay, okay, okay. Going live. Okay, yeah, sorry, there was a technical glitch. I'm so sorry about that. There was a technical glitch. It's part of what we are talking about. There was a technical glitch, but yeah, I'm back. Yeah, okay, we are back. Okay, so sorry about that. So sorry about that. So as I was saying, you need to come to a realization that if I must be wealthy, it all starts from my mindset. Because why most persons are not financially strong is because they have this weak mindset, this wrong bias about money, about wealth. And that is why when at every site they see, the first site they see a young person who is doing financially well, their mindset tells them is either a thief, a fraudster, is either into some shady deals. They hardly come to terms to the agreement that it is possible for somebody to be doing exactly what they are doing and also become financially free. Why? Because in their mind, you cannot walk the right route and become financially free. And if you have more than you need in life, you have vanity. So, because of that mindset, one, I cannot be as wealthy as these guys claim to be doing the right things. And two, if I have so much more than I need, then it is vanity. Once you have those two mindsets, it becomes almost impossible for you to be ever wealthy, for you to be ever financially free. So those two mindsets you must fix, in fact, with speed, like with you don't have the till the end of today to fix it. You know, until I started earning in millions. I mean, millions, doing millions in a month. I was wondering how people get to do millions in a year. Like, okay, when your target was all that, okay, maybe you are making some hundreds of thousands on a monthly basis, and probably the next 10 years you'll have accumulated so much, and then you realize what you thought needs to take 10 years is actually doable in 1 month. And then it storms you that, so this is what some persons do even on a daily basis. And I realize why so a whole lot of persons don't ever become billionaires. And that was why one of the reasons why I had to put together a resource, and then a digital resource that you could listen to and then help change the mindset that is not allowing you become financially free. Because it's one thing for me to have money, it's another to become financially free. It's another thing to have what it takes to become a billionaire. Because at the billionaire realm, you can't be a billionaire and be going and go about shouting vanity upon vanity, all this vanity, vanity. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I put together a resources. I titled it Ote's First Billion. It's a resource that deals extensively with mindset issues. A whole lot of see, most of us, our what bettered vanity upon vanity is the parents we had. Some of us it is the homes we grew up in. Some of us it was the schools we attended. For some of us, it was the religious houses we went to. We started our lives from a whole lot of things. For some of us, it was the social media lifestyle. It was a short movie you saw. It was a story someone told you about an incident or an event that damage our financial mindset. And with that mindset, we've been living life so much so that even when we are putting in effort, resources don't just gravitate towards our axis. Why? Because in our mind, this can't be me. And everyone who has such resources, our mind is always telling us once we see them, thieves, fraudsters, Yahoo guys, and all that. Because your mind, see, until your mind can see it, your hands cannot bring them to reality. That is why the mind in itself is the key thing we must start with. Until my mind can see it, my hands cannot bring this thing to reality. So if my mind keeps saying wealth, financial resources, financial freedom, financial abundance as evil as vanity, my hands will find it difficult to put together, to work in such a way that I can now accumulate those things, because my mind keeps fighting whatever my hands are trying to do. So if you have not gotten notice first billion, the link will be somewhere in the description box. You can just go. I think it's still on promo, it's still on discount, it's still on a discount. But I just wanted it to be something almost every youth around my life could get, because I realize it's something major that is disturbing a whole lot of youth. And I see a whole lot of youth around me struggling financially, and over the years, with the I will get it done, I will get it done, I'll get it better, I will get better next year, nothing really has been done. And I realize it's a perspective thing, and I don't want a whole lot of people to stay there. So you can just get it. The link is somewhere in the description box. What is first billion? Go for it, and then you could get that. So back to what we were saying. Your vanity is a matter of your definition of what it is. I can Either this skin is well taken care of or is not well taken care of. This skin will still end 6 feet under the ground. So it means how this skin glows when I am on earth is a determinant of how my mind sees the importance of this skin. But let me tell you, if I am to sell you a beauty product, for instance, now, and my skin is looking so rash and so displeasing, you won't buy that beauty product, because this beauty product you want to give to me should work for your skin. But my mind is telling me my skin doesn't matter. I just want to sell this to you. In the same vein, there are some meetings you appear at that your appearance alone disqualifies you from that setting and whatever project you will have been handed over. So if you like, say putting on nice clothes is vanity. There are some deals you will never get. There are some persons you will never meet. See, there are places you will never meet some persons, no matter how much you keep going to those places. It's not possible. See, you can't tell me you want to meet like my mentor Tedola or Dangote, or you want to meet Tony Elumelu in a random roadside football viewing center. It's not possible. It's not possible. There are places you will not meet some persons, and there are places you will not have access to with some outfits. It's not possible. You can't wear rags to go and meet a king. You won't gain access to the palace. So if your definition of vanity is I don't believe in wearing something expensive, I don't believe in looking expensive, I'm sorry, those who are expensive will find it difficult to do business with you. And those who will pay you well, the type of money you need to become a millionaire, a billionaire in life, are those who have those type of money. So no matter how much you sell your services and your value to the poor, if the poor cannot give you the resources you need to become a billionaire, because they don't have it. So those who will patronize you in such a way that you can also become a billionaire are those who have these resources to give in exchange for whatever value you have. So, but if your outfit is not appealing to them, if your appearance does not welcome them, if your space, that's why some persons don't just go to any place to buy stuff. It's not possible. There are persons you will never meet in a third class. So if first class ticket is vanity to you, it means those persons, your chances of ever meeting them in your life is about 1/100. Because in your head, anybody buying first class tickets is wasting money. That person is this is vanity. Your third class ticket is the reason why you might never meet such persons in life. I cannot go to places like this. Why should I go to a cinema to watch a movie? What's there? Can't we just organize something inside the house? It's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Your definition of vanity will either keep you long in poverty or help you come out of poverty. How do I mean? The day you realize all is poverty, either I am poor or I am wealthy, they are all poverty, they are all vanity. But I have decided to pick the good side of vanity, because if I am financially strong, I can take care of my health, take care of my immediate loved ones, impact my society, and influence my community at large with something good. Let them see. What I'm doing now is because I have the resources to do them. Some persons would have loved to do this, but they don't even have the resources to get them done. And then for that reason, for years, they might never get those things done. And if not careful, they might be unable to get the resources needed to get these things done, even in decades to come. The same vein, you can listen to me now because you have that device, you have the data, and you have the time to even do so. Some persons don't have these three things and will never get access to it. I just mentioned the resource you could get now that will help your mindset, where I spoke extensively. I think of over an hour resource. Just listening. Something you could just plug in, and some persons won't be able to afford it no matter how. See, if I make it even free, some persons will still be able to afford it. Not because they don't want to take it free, but because they don't even have a device that can listen to such a tape. They don't even have the time to, because it's all like that. So in the same vein, you need to come to a realization that either I have good health or I have a bad, my health is weak. Both body's condition, none is going to wherever I'm going after this world with me. So I would rather take good care of this body and gain access to the resources legally and morally now. Legal, don't forget, this channel is all about doing things that are both legally and morally right. I'm going to gain access to resources both legally and morally right that will make me take good care of my body, so that my looking good and my being healthy internally can help me fulfill my purpose. If you allow the vanity upon vanity keep you in a state where you struggle financially all your life, remember the first statement we opened with: your poverty is not helping anybody. Not you, not your spouse, not your kids, not your community, not your religious house, not even your religion. Neither is it helping God in any way. Doesn't promote anything. There is no, I've been hearing of different lists, but I've never heard of a list like the top three poorest persons on planet Earth. The top 10 list of those who can't afford something. I've never heard something. Nobody gives award for poverty. So stop giving yourself that award. You are in the midst of, okay, I poor pass you. You can't stay in that. You can't stay in that category. You've glorified yourself so much in that state. Do you believe in the last 1 year I've not tasted pizza? Doesn't make sense. Why are you glorifying that? And the ones you are able to take maybe ice cream in a year, you make it look as though, wow, this is what some persons do on a daily basis. But because you have glorified poverty so much, once I don't take am now, na till next year again. Oh, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Somebody once wrote a caption on his status, and it caught my attention so strongly. And I've kept it at the back of my hands. Like, no, it's one of the driving forces I have. He said, never stay in a circle where they tell you Benz is expensive because it takes so much fuel. It says you are in the wrong circle. You know, some persons believe once you have a Toyota Camry and all that, you can save fuel. He said if you are in a circle where all they used to tell you, all they used to say is Benz consume so much fuel, you're in the wrong circle. Why? It becomes almost impossible for you to own a Benz. Even if somebody is willing to buy for you, you will tell the person, rather buy me this because I want to save fuel. Because in your head, you can never have what it takes to buy petroleum or fuel to maintain a Benz. In the same vein, if I want to dash you a G-Wagon now and you hear the amount a tire costs, your head might tell you I might never be able to get the type of money needed to change one tire. So let me not buy a G-Wagon in my life. Let me just buy something that is like maybe 100 times lesser than it, so that I can be maintaining it. And you stayed in that state for so long. That is why many persons will never have beyond a bungalow in life. Some persons will never live in apartments beyond 3 bedroom flats. It's not a cause. It's not like anyone is after them, but there's this mindset: I cannot afford what it takes to live in a duplex, or what it takes to own a fully detached home, or what it takes to own a semi-detached home. So in their head, they are working small, they are staying low. So resources can never gravitate in that direction. And it all begins with this mindset: vanity upon vanity. Not knowing that either you live in a two-bedroom apartment or you live in a duplex, all is vanity. So I have come to challenge us this day. Choose wisely your own vanity. Will you allow yourself stay in the vanity of poverty, or will you embrace the vanity that comes with wealth and make good use of that wealth? There is no point having double losses. You don't enjoy it here, and still life is not giving you, it's not becoming much more rosy for you because you didn't enjoy those things. There's no point. There's no point. You don't have good health, and you still don't have the resources to maintain the health you have presently. There's no point. You don't have a good job, and you don't have the resources it takes to learn a skill that can help you get a better job, then there's no point. It means you just keep going like this, year in, year out. And if you are not careful, 3 decades will have gone. If you are not careful again, another 5 decades have gone. And probably at 60 or 70, you're just there, you are now seeing yourself in the shoes of persons you wondered what they were doing with their youth, now that you are old. But really, your life is of no really much difference from theirs, because you settled so early in life with vanity upon vanity, all is vanity, and you chose the vanity in poverty. And at your 60s, in your 60s, in your 70s, you are living life like one who never worked while they were youth. Either you have one plot of land, or you have 10 hectares of land. They are both vanity. But one vanity will make me enjoy life, make me live a good life, than the other vanity. If I leave 10 hectares of land for my grandchildren, they will be much more happier, and not have might never have cause to fight over the land, over the division of the land, than when all I leave for them is a plot of land. If I hand over to them a plot of land, they might even end up killing themselves, because whatever they will make from that will be too small compared to when I've given them 10 hectares of land. Imagine you are living maybe 3 persons, 4 persons with 10 hectares of land. By the time they share it, an hectare in itself is about 15 plots. So if you are leaving 15 plots for 3 persons, that means each person is already getting 5 plots, compared to one who dropped just one plot. And I'm not even going to location sites. So don't tell me one plot in this place might be better than 15 plots in this place. One whose mindset is vanity upon vanity, all is vanity in the wrong way, will not even think of buying, owning, cannot even own properties in some places. So forget about that. That's not the bone of contention now. It's a matter of what would you be able to do with your life, so much so that enough financial resources can come your way, so much so that they become in abundance, and it can rub off from people around you. You can live a good life here, and by the time you transition to the next world, you will not regret that. I could have done better. If I would work on gold where I'm going, then I should be able to make good use of gold here while I'm here. Gold should not be a god to me here. But if I see it as vanity upon vanity, I'll work there and regretted why I didn't really make good use of it here. So, what side of vanity are you picking? The good one or the bad one? The bad one is the one that tells you poverty is the best you can ever attain, and you need to remember that your poverty helps nobody. Once you are wealthy, there are a whole lot of things you can do with that wealth that will make this world a much more better place. Your kids will be happy for it. Your spouses will be happy. Your spouse will be happy for it. Your parents will live a much more better life in their last days than they would have with your poverty. Your siblings, your relatives, your community, your religious houses, your nation will be much more better because you became financially free. The world at large will be well impacted because you chose the good side of vanity. If you must make any decision today, it's a decision never to be poor, never to remain poor, never to give poverty a chance, never to accept or stay around any conversation that glorifies poverty, and never to be the one who glorifies poverty yourself. So till I come your way again, I'm gonna do me. Okay, it inspires. If you are new to the channel, please do well to subscribe. Share this with everyone in your community. If you have not yet joined the global community of Kate Inspires, can do so on Telegram. The link will be somewhere in the description box. And if you are yet to get Otis first billion, you can also do so. The link is also there. And if you have persons you feel they should also listen to Otis first billion, if it has blessed you, do well to copy the links and share with them. Let every youth, please, I'm particularly about youth because there's a whole lot of life ahead of us. Let every youth, teenagers who are already matured, let them lay their hands on those resources. Let them listen. Don't buy for anybody. It's the first step that shows that they are willing to embrace financial freedom. Let them buy for themselves. That's why it's so cheap. It's something almost anyone can afford. It's way cheaper than the data you need to even sustain yourself for a month or a week. So do well to share the link with everybody. Let everyone listen to it. Let us all become financially strong together and make this world a better place. Remember, you must do whatever it is that is legally and morally right to become financially free, because a generation is counting on you and you cannot afford to fail them. Kate, I am waiting for you. Stay blessed. Bye.